The Shadows of Salem Street. Salem Street was notorious in our town. Not because of its connection to the infamous witch trials, but because of the old, dilapidated mansion that stood at its very end. The mansion, known as the Blackwood Manor, had been abandoned for decades, but every Halloween, strange occurrences were reported by those daring enough to venture near it. I had always been a skeptic, brushing off the tales as mere urban legends. But this year, my curiosity got the better of me. I decided to spend Halloween night inside the Blackwood Manor, hoping to debunk the myths surrounding it. Armed with a flashlight, a camera, and a sense of bravado, I made my way to the mansion as the sun began to set. The iron gates creaked ominously as I pushed them open, and the path leading to the mansion was overgrown with weeds. The house itself was a colossal structure, its windows broken, its walls covered in ivy. I entered through the main door, which surprisingly was unlocked. The inside was just as decrepit as the outside. Dust and cobwebs covered every surface, and the air was thick with a musty smell. I began to explore, my flashlight illuminating the dark corners of the mansion. The ground floor was relatively uneventful. An old parlor, a dining room with a long table set for a meal that was never eaten, and a kitchen with rusted appliances. It was when I made my way upstairs that things began to get strange. The first room I entered appeared to be a child's bedroom. Toys were scattered on the floor, and a rocking horse began to move on its own as I entered. I could hear the faint sound of a lullaby, though I couldn't pinpoint its source. I quickly left the room, my heart racing. The next room was a library, its shelves filled with old books. As I browsed the titles, one of the books flew off the shelf, landing at my feet. The pages began to turn on their own, stopping at a page that detailed the history of the Blackwood family. The family had been accused of witchcraft, and the entire lineage had been executed. The book claimed that their spirits still haunted the mansion, seeking revenge. I was about to leave the library when I heard a voice. It was soft, almost a whisper, but it was clear. "You shouldn't be here," it said. I shone my flashlight around, but there was no one in sight. I continued my exploration, each room revealing more about the tragic history of the Blackwood family. A ballroom where ghostly apparitions danced to a silent tune, a study with letters detailing the false accusations against the family, and a nursery with the cries of a baby echoing in the air. But it was the basement that held the most terrifying secrets. As I descended the stairs, the temperature dropped significantly. The basement was a vast space, with stone walls and a dirt floor. In the center stood a large pentagram, candles at each point. And around the pentagram were chains, their shackles stained with what looked like blood. I heard the voice again, this time louder and more menacing. "You will join us," it said. From the shadows, figures began to emerge. They were dressed in old-fashioned clothing, their faces pale and their eyes hollow. They were the spirits of the Blackwood family, and they were not pleased with my intrusion. I tried to run, but my legs wouldn't move. The spirits closed in, their moans and cries filling the air. I felt a cold hand grip my arm, pulling me towards the pentagram. I struggled, but the grip was too strong. And then, a bright light filled the basement. From the staircase, a figure appeared. It was a woman, dressed in white, her face radiating a warm glow. She raised her hand, and the spirits recoiled, their moans turning to screams of agony. One by one, they vanished, leaving me alone with the woman. She approached me, her presence calming. "They are gone," she said. "For now." She explained that she was the last of the Blackwood lineage, executed for crimes she did not commit. She had returned to protect the living from the vengeful spirits of her family. I thanked her, my relief palpable. She nodded, her form beginning to fade. "Remember," she said, The dead do not rest easy on Salem Street. I left the Blackwood Manor, the events of the night forever etched in my memory. I had gone in a skeptic, but I left a believer. And every Halloween, as the moon casts its glow on Salem Street, I'm reminded of the spirits that dwell in the Blackwood Manor and the guardian angel who saved me from their wrath.